Right, welcome back to Rambling Achieved episode 6. And I'm Looney, and here's Brandon, as usual.
Howdy.
And as we alluded to in the winding down of the previous episode, was this is going to be, it was initially going to be all achievement related, and then Xbox out of nowhere, Phil Spencer comes flying down from his castle made of money and decides to drop a random Xbox partner preview. So obviously we end up watching that. And you leading into it, you didn't really have, you thought it was going to be a hell of a lot worse than what it was. And I think we was like 15 minutes in, and you was like, this is actually pretty damn good.
That was really that was great. I
Yeah.
I was totally shocked. We both talked before coming on. We didn't really talk much about the game specifically, but it's crazy. We both mentioned that we have six games apiece
Mm,
that caught our eye. And
yeah.
I don't know what your six is. You don't know what my six is. I mean, I have a good guess on some of them, but very, very curious. So we can kind of just bounce back and forth. Your top six, my top six, go through them, and wherever we have crossover, discuss them there
Yeah.
together. So yeah, this is gonna be a fun show. Really fun
Yeah.
show.
So game of the year, that Chucky game. Clearly. No.
Jesus.
Oh God. The first two games didn't do anything for me. I can't even remember what they were called. Um, and that kind
The-
of set the tone with us going in with no knowledge. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is going to be a really crap showcase. And then out of nowhere, the third game came out on, I wouldn't say all cylinders, but it kind of kick started the showcase, and that was the Altars. Really,
yeah.
really interesting. And I was the first thing I wrote down, because I try and get like an initial like first impression, and it was like it kind of feels like a little bit they're trying to capture a little bit of Death Stranding, and then the moment it moved to the I don't even know what you call it, like the home base thing. It was like the massive wheel, and it did all the different rooms and stuff, and then it changed camera perspective. And I don't know if you ever played a game called This War of Mine.
I know what you're talking about, but I haven't
It
played it. But
it really touched upon that, and I was like, holy shit! And then it was they were like, yeah, and like you're the only person on this planet, but you have a cloning machine, and the clones are different because it clones your DNA, but it chooses a different path that you would have chosen in life to kind of generate their personalities and stuff. And it feels like that's really, really interesting, but really dangerous at the same time. Like it seems very you're overthinking something, but if they can land that aspect of the game, that'd be really interesting. I don't think we've ever seen anything like it.
never. Not to my recollection, at least. I mean, that is I I would say probably my game of the show. I think the idea of getting to make decisions that have branching impacts. You saw them talk about relationships and stuff. How could I have kept that marriage together? And just these different decisions that you get to make with these multiple alternate versions of yourself. Like that concept is so, so unique, as well as it looks pretty decent. A third person sort of, like you said, Death Stranding sort of adventure, but with crafting and survival mechanics. Like
Mm,
it looks really, really. I thought that looked really good. I was already really excited for it, but that took it to the next level. I don't know if you feel the same way. If this is a 25 or below hour narrative driven adventure, sign me up. If this is going to lean more into the 100+ hour survival game, I'm probably in.
yeah. Um, it depends, as you said, on what the shift of where they go more towards on the genre aspect of it. Is it going to be you come back to these bases? Because what I think of it's not 100% similar, but maybe they drew a little bit of inspiration. That newest Alien game, where it was an RTS strategy game for the like 90% of it, and then you'd go back to your home base, and then you would deal with like very, very light kind of decision making and base building and stuff like that. So if it hits in that realm, it could be on the shorter side because I don't. the world. I don't think you can make it 100 hours surely in the survival aspect. Surely it's got to be like a more of a compact game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it all pans out. I I will say, was that your game of the show?
Mm-mm,
Or
mm-mm,
I think I have a good idea what yours might
mm-mm.
be. I think I would say The Alters was my game of the show. You brushed over it earlier, but talking about the opening games that really didn't click with you. There were two in that opening span that I thought looked somewhat interesting. The Unknown Nine Awakening. The only reason that I think this is the first game that was shown off, the only reason I'm somewhat curious about it is Bandai Namco is the publisher. So
Yeah,
I'm
it.
not saying that necessarily means quality, but yeah, it looks
I
Assassin's
mean, I
Creed-ish.
won't. I won't put dirt on them. Their name as a publisher. Like they publish really high quality stuff. And I don't think it was necessarily a bad game. It was more so it felt like, oh, this is just like an Assassin's Creed, another one of these where it's crouching in the grass and been here, done that kind of thing. And then the power system kind of, it was just like a Dishonored, like, I don't know, maybe I played so much of them in the past few years, I
Yeah.
could kind of take it or leave them for a little bit and let them
Yeah, see,
recoup that a little bit more.
I'm not as big of an Assassin's Creed fan as you, so I don't think I'm as quite as burnt out. Like I jumped out of Valhalla probably 15 hours in, something like that. I did play Odyssey, finished Odyssey, but I don't have like the history with Assassin's Creed. So a game that's not Assassin's Creed but kind of looks like it and probably I would imagine scoped way back, that's much more up my alley. And I do have some trust in Bandai as a publisher. Like I said, it doesn't guarantee quality, but the it looked interesting enough.
to to stay on it a tiny bit longer, you said about it being scaled back as like an. Did you played Mirage though, right? Did that really do
I
much for
didn't
you?
know, but that Mirage, I like the idea of stealth as like the driving force of gameplay, but it's not ever going to be my preferred. Like I love using stealth in action adventure games, and sometimes I will rely on stealth more, but I like having more flexibility. And the Mirage combat outside of the stealth just was like, eh, it wasn't great.
Yeah, yep. That. So I'm assuming with how positive you were, that was one of the six on your list as well.
Yeah, Unknown Nine Awakening, I have that on my list. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I had that Sleight of Hand game, which was I think the
Mm,
next game announced or
yeah,
the
that was the
but
second.
yeah, it's like no gameplay really. There's nothing to
No,
even
just
talk
a
about.
proof of concept. I was a little bit excited for it because they're using cards, and I'm all for a card-based system. And I can't remember if I said this either in a comment or on the Discord. I can't believe that I left out Marvel's Midnight Suns from my top 10 of the generation.
Oh,
Dude, that game is addictive as hell. Like, I'm a
yeah.
big fan of the developer. It's Firaxis, I believe, people
Yeah,
who did
yeah.
XCOM. Didn't think that
Hmm.
they could pull off uh, a card-based game like, dude, it's so good. I don't know if you've played it, but
Yeah, I played like 20 hours of it. I really
God,
liked it.
the reason it didn't probably immediately because I never finished it, but it was deliberately I didn't finish. I didn't want it to end.
Yeah.
The combat loop is so damn addictive. But yeah, sorry for that side tangent.
Oh no, I don't really have any. That's why I just wanted to sling out that sleight of hand uh game to just briefly mention it, and then we'll hit back to you because I don't have anything to say. But the idea, third person kind of stealth is immersive semi sort of.
Mm.
We'll see.
Sinking City 2.
This is so crazy.
I because I think you said that you weren't expecting it as a sequel. Like that's blown
God
you
no.
away.
Yeah.
I They had a very dirty breakup with their publisher during COVID for the Sinking City 1 and stuff. And this is, I think they've been their publisher for quite a few years, but they didn't pay them at all for Sinking City. They didn't get a paycheck, and they were trying to fight it in courts. and it finally settled the original listing of the Sinking City one, so the Xbox One version. That because you've contractually signed off to the publisher, they get the paycheck. So that's why I don't know if you've noticed there was a relisting of the Sinking City. There's two versions
I
of
do
it.
remember that. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that second listing is the first time they're finally getting paid for that game. And because nobody paid attention to this lawsuit and all this crap that was surrounding it, um, it got really bad like publicity because they're like, wow, they're just cashing in. Why are they selling this game again as a next
Oh
gen upgrade and
man.
stuff? And the reason I say I'm not surprised that the Sinking City 2 exists because they fought tooth and nail for that IP. That is the biggest success that Frogwares has seen in a very, very long time, and they didn't want to have that original IP of theirs go to waste. So I saw
Damn.
that as Sinking City 2, and I was like, it's so heartwarming to see that they didn't go under because their Sherlock Holmes games are incredible as well.
Dude, I appreciate that insight. I did not know that at all. I really enjoyed The Sinking City. I played through the entirety of that first game and I really, really liked it. It's janky as can be, but man, I thought that idea of like this sort of, Lovecraftian just third person horror game where you can kind of impact the narrative with the decisions
Yeah,
that you make, like that was really unique.
the detective aspect of where you're pinning things, and that's because it's their bread and butter is Sherlock Holmes games. They've been making them for decades,
Yeah.
and they've been able to incorporate that to the point where even they did the Sherlock Holmes Chapter One thing, and then that kind of it didn't sell as well as they had hoped after the success of the Sinking City. So for the follow up, they ended up incorporating Lovecraftian aspects to the Sherlock Holmes game, and
Oh
people were a
wow.
lot more warmer on that. And it's look, man, Lovecraft sells. It's a
Yeah.
really, really good damn setting. So
It it's crazy like looking through this list now. One thing that I didn't even realize until just now is everything on my list that I was excited about are new IP. Well, other than the Sinking City too, but you know what I mean, pretty much a brand new IP. No real franchises on here. And like I think that was a really good showcase for highlighting new games. Like new IP games that we might have known about for a little bit, but I'm glad that Xbox got behind a lot of these titles that probably, I mean, a lot, the Alters is a great example. That was the best showing that that game has had by a mile, you know?
the fact that they've decided to put them in this showcase, all of like there wasn't a game in this showcase where it's like a Starfield, where it would steal the show and take away
Right.
everything. Everything here was on the lower budget, or it's the things that wouldn't steal headlines. So giving them a place to shine was really, really important. And that, yeah, all the games that made an impact because of that.
Well, yeah, and these are really games for people like you and I, like these are games that the average, gamer's probably not going to be interested in, but these are, like you said, indies and double A's and very single player centric. And yeah, I really, just to reiterate, really enjoyed this damn showcase. But was it my go or was it your go for the next one?
I said the Sinking City,
Okay.
so
Was there
in
anything else you wanted to hit on with that?
no, go buy the Sinking City one and make sure it's the Frogwares one. Don't give that publisher any damn money.
Did they? I actually, I'll look it up after I hit this next one. If they have a PS5 physical copy, I'm gonna grab it.
I believe they
Um,
do.
Perfect. I'm grabbing that. I will shout out here. I'm gonna shout out this creature of Ava.
I knew that would be something that landed you good. I was sitting
I
there and
ha
I was like, this is not doing anything for me. This is right up Brandon's alley.
dude. Yeah, this it gives you some. When I first saw it, I was like, "Is this Chia? Is Chia coming to Xbox?"
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And then when it got going, I was like, oh, this is a third person action adventure title. More on the third person adventure side than the action side, but you going on doing some photography and I don't know. It gave me like Beyond Good and Evil meets Chia meets Tomb Raider. And I think that the lead writer from the Tomb Raider trilogy is writing this game.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, so I mean, I don't know. This we'll see. I any you know, I'm a sucker for the third person action adventure games. It's my favorite genre in the world. So anytime I see a story driven third person action adventure game, especially one with like a unique art style, I thought this had a nice, just cozy sort of happy vibe to it.
Yeah, a
And
vibrant color palette for sure. And nice
yeah,
like creature designs and stuff like that.
yeah, it did. And anything that gives me a little Beyond Good and Evil itch, I'll happily take it because I know Ubisoft is not going to deliver that. So yeah, Creature of Ava. Maybe not my game of the show, but one I'm going to keep my eye on.
Um, Probably shouldn't be shouting this out, but it was probably the biggest thing at the showcase that we already knew about, and that'd be obviously Final Fantasy 14 getting a locked in March 21st full release for Xbox. I believe it's already available now, but you have to be a it needs to be a brand new account. It can't be linked to a Square Enix to get into that open beta thing, which is a very strange thing.
Let me ask you this. Are you going to buy it just to send a message to Square? Like one of those games you buy and don't ever play just to be like, hey, put put
I
7 and
played
16 in.
I played Final Fantasy 14 for about 10 hours on PS5 with a friend of mine, and I enjoyed aspects of it. I struggle to get into like full-on MMOs though. They grind my soul. Like the most grindy I can get into something would be like a Diablo like.
Yeah,
Um
we're in the same exact camp there.
I would really love to absorb Final Fantasy 14 because everything you hear about it, it's the classic MMO thing of, dude, you just got to break through that like 50-hour mark and like these
Yeah,
expansions, these holy shit, they land and it's just like 50 hours, man. Like you're talking
3 games.
that's Yakuza. That's the latest Yakuza I could be playing and enjoying from start to finish. Like, man, I'm sorry. So I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
undecided on it because I don't know how they're gonna. It also depends on how they're handling the membership fees. They have not mentioned a single thing about that, to my knowledge, where it's a game that you have to pay for and then pay for the privilege of playing with a membership fee. So if they can incorporate the membership fee into the Game Pass Ultimate deal and just let you like walk through the door, maybe, maybe. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's obviously I have zero interest in it. I'm new into the Final Fantasy world, but I've really been enjoying my time with it. I think I'll probably play every Final Fantasy from this point on that's more action oriented. So other than
So
MMOs.
without spoilers, as it is brand new, you've been playing the new one.
Yeah.
I've heard it's pissed a lot of people off.
Really?
Yeah. No, the gameplay is incredible. Like the first thing, they have completely butchered the story for actual fans.
Oh, see, I don't like
And
I
that's
never
what I
played
mean.
the
You're
original.
you're you're like, wow, really? That's all I've seen. People are
Yeah.
very, very annoyed with that
I
aspect of the game.
I couldn't really expand on it because I have no
So
knowledge
I
of
wanted
the
to know, no, but my point was is from having no knowledge, like how are you feeling about the story? Is it strong? Are you enjoying it?
yeah,
Because
so
obviously you don't
far
have them connections that these people from what was it, 1997 have and stuff like that.
I will say this. I I still got to finish it. I'll say this. I like the first game's story more, or the first remake. I like remake story more than Rebirth, but I think it's just because Rebirth is so big that it can be kind of hard to keep up with it. Where so much of the focus of Rebirth is like exploring these huge worlds and these mini games and just all of this content that I'm like losing track of okay, what is Sephiroth actually doing right now? Okay, what's the main motive right here? And it gets a little bit
So there's too much distraction and and
for
filler.
me. I don't think it's filler at all. I think the
Oh,
content is actually like super punchy, super meaty, super solid, but I'm the type of guy where I really like to go through a main story and try to take all
yeah.
that in, and then I'll dabble with the side content that I want to later on. But I will say I think Rebirth does a great job of getting you to stuff that could be considered side content and at least showing you where it is so that you can go back to it and have fun with it later. Just giving you a little hit, and then you
Hmm.
can get addicted and come back to it later on. So I've really been enjoying it. I think I'm like 20-ish hours in. I've been binging the shit out of
Damn,
it. I've
I was
really
about to
been
say
enjoying it.
that. Yeah, it's only been out a few days, I think,
Yeah.
a week or maybe.
Yeah, I've been playing it like 4 or 5 hours a day. I've been going pretty crazy
Hell
with
yeah,
it.
glad you're enjoying it. Right, your pick into
My
your call.
pick, we'll stay kind of in a similar vein here, and I'll talk about Path of the Goddess, Path of the Goddess, the Capcom game.
So, oh no, that is on my list. Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it
it was the last
Path
one. It
of,
was Kuni Itsugami Path of the Goddess.
okay. There we go. Well, I'll let you handle that. Um, obviously this is to me the thing that really stood out to me out the gate for this game when I first saw it at the Xbox showcase last year was that it looked so damn weird. It looked so different than anything I was like, is this Onimusha when I first saw it? It's like,
Mm,
no, it's way more colorful and pretty and it's just got more
and
going on. It's
exists.
less right. And and then I saw it today and it was more you know, Final Fantasy VII remake-esque, like closer over the shoulder, hacking and slashing going on. And then it kind of did look like Onimusha today. Not the vibrancy, not the art style, but just the combat. It did have like a samurai feel to it with more building aspects going on and more like crafting components and shit and like protecting the people, the people of your tribe, the people of your village. And I was like, this looks great. This looks really cool, really interesting. I love that Capcom, as they are consistently hitting it out of the park with Resident Evil and Street Fighter and their existing IP are doing so well. I'm glad to see that they're continuing to invest in new single player
Yeah,
IP
they're
as
also
well.
dabbling out still. Yeah.
Yeah. Pragmata, this. Yeah.
Um, I feel I can't say this for certain. Maybe I've just missed the showcase while I've been here. But I think because this game and stuff like Unicorn Overlord completely flew over my head. Didn't even know they existed until like a few months back. So I don't know if this was shown while we were doing the move of last year. Obviously, I'm in a new place.
Mhm.
So the first thing I wrote down when I was watching this, because this is the first time I've seen it, was I was like, holy shit, this was like DMC. And then the Capcom name came up, and then it completely like ripped the rug underneath me, and it was kind of like a tower defense hybrid at the same time, a little bit. And I
Right.
was like, what 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 is going on? So
It
it
is.
looks really unique, and then it has like a boss battle at the end as well with that whole like centipede like weird thing. So it's like I don't know what it wants to be. I think it wants to be everything.
Yeah. It is
So
single player, right?
I believe so. I don't think they
Yeah.
gave any indication that it was going to be multiplayer because the people taking up the roles of that tower defense thing are just like NPCs that you find out in the world, you recruit, and you say, here's a bow, come and guard me.
Yeah, it would be kind of cool to play that story and like couch co-op or multiplayer or something. I could see that being pretty sick. That's the thing when we first saw it and the Xbox showcase last year. I when I first looked at it, I was like, is this going to be like a top-down style game? Because it felt like, from what I remember, and I could remember completely incorrect, my memory may be off, but I felt like the camera was pulled out a lot more in that first trailer, and then this trailer was like up close. I was like,
Maybe
okay, cool.
maybe they looked back on it and was like, if we drag it in a little bit, because like you said, you were drawing in your comparison was to the Final Fantasy remake. Look how well they've done. If we
Right.
can kind of harness that player base, we could, take a few.
Yeah, and like you said, the kind of character actiony feel to it and stuff.
Mm.
So
I mean, I'm
we'll see
excited
how
for it.
that
It
goes.
looks really interesting.
And releasing this year,
Yeah,
as was the I didn't mention it, that Creature of Ara or Creature of Ava game, 2024. So
cool, cool,
yeah,
cool.
that's one I'll shut out.
Um, I'll save my most anticipated for last. Um, this isn't a game that'll be going next, but it just feels it's in the same boat as like the Final Fantasy 14 thing. It just spoke to me. Obviously, being a big Persona fan, showing what the thing is, kind of disappointed that that's the roadmap that they have given for the expansion pass. Because you're
What
talking.
exactly?
So what it is it's just like a season pass, is what that was announcing. So it was announcing the free parts of it. If you purchased it, this is what you're getting. So the first part is BGM, so battle game music. That, that's
That's
it. So you're
that's
just
kind of
getting
wild.
you're getting more songs screaming into your ear. You're not getting new content, and then the wave two is new costumes, and it's just like okay. And then wave three is the Aegis DLC, which I believe Persona 3 had. I can't remember the name of it. So I don't know if it's a full retelling of that or if they're doing like the Final Fantasy rebirth thing where they will shift things up. But it really felt like you had the opportunity to further expand on many things and you haven't. It would have been nice to see at least two out of the three waves be story driven content. But yeah,
What? Why do you think Persona gets away with that? And it doesn't seem like there's as big of an outcry
it's
that there
fanaticism.
would usually be. Yeah.
Like even for me sitting here, I'm just like, yep, that's an Atlas move. I'm not even in their have been in their corner for all that long, and I'm just like, I already know how you function as a company. You get away with so much shit. But you can't help but love them at the end of the day. Like they 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 keep churning out stuff related to Persona 5 instead of giving people Persona 6, but people keep eating it. So it's the same with this, it's a disappointing season pass, but I'm sure it sold gangbusters.
Yeah. I think that is everything on my list. Unknown Nine Awakening, Sleight of Hand. What?
That's your whole list?
Yeah. The
You
Altars, Creature of Ava, Sinking City, Path of a Goddess. Oh well, yeah. You can cover that though. You're much more of a fan than I am.
but
For,
no, that's what I said. Did that not make your list? Or are you saying that you're not going to talk on it?
it wouldn't make my list.
Holy
I
smokes.
I
My
mean,
heart. You
I'm
you
excited.
you kill me sometimes.
It's listen, it looks cool. I'm glad that it's there. It's a I think that it's a nice treat for a decent price. Well, I think for a decent price, all together
Dude,
packaged
I'd
as
pay
one game.
70 for this. I'm not even joking. Like, and if obviously we're dancing around the name and without giving it, it's Stalker shadow dropping all three of the Stalker games. Like that blew my mind. I did not see that coming. And then like after my mind, I was picking my mind up from the floor and plopping it back into my skull. I was like, do you know what? No, that actually makes sense now when you think about it. Like Stalker 2's been in development for so long. I know the outside problems with the war and everything, but it's like it shouldn't have taken that long to get a game like that out. and their track record as a developer is they don't mind releasing things in they're like the Bethesda thing, but they will fix it in post, or they'll let the community take over. So this makes perfect sense that this now was in development. And do you know what baffles me the most? We heard nothing of this.
Yeah,
You're
no
talking
leak.
in all of the things related to the acquisition. This name didn't rise at all. We didn't get a sniff of this. Like none of this was in the plans. No, it didn't get exposed, didn't get leaked. That's a big W for Microsoft. Like, and to get
Are
this,
they?
because I don't think this is on PlayStation. This is also a exclusive for Xbox.
Oh, okay. Is it Game Pass today?
I don't know. I didn't catch the Game Pass logo.
I'll look it up real quick.
Um, but I also, I'm not gonna lie, whatever was after the game, I missed. Whatever, like, I missed like 60% of that trailer for the next game because I was frantically typing in Stalker into the Xbox Microsoft Store, trying to find it. I was like, holy shit, yes, 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 yes.
Legend of the Zone. Let's see. It's Legend. Do you got the name wrote down?
They, all I wrote down was all three of the titles: The Shadow of Chernobyl, Clear Skies, and Call of Pripyat. But I know
Okay.
it did have a bundle name, but I didn't catch that. I was too busy putting my brain back
Yeah.
into my head.
Stalker Legend of the Zone trilogy coming to consoles.
Yeah, that would be it then.
Um, yeah,
But
so
they
you can
said it would be launching today, so that could be literally, an 8 p.m. release time for America, and why it's not available now.
pre-order Legend of the Zone on PlayStation 4 for around $40, and it has been mentioned that the pack will be released on June 27th, 2024. So I guess that
So
the
it's a
PlayStation
timed
release,
exclusive for Xbox because they
yeah,
said it's available today. So what's that? That's March, April, May, June. It's only a 4 month window. It's kind
yeah,
of strange.
I'm
You
reading
think
up
you'd
on it
lock
right
that down
now.
to at least a minimum of 6 months?
It doesn't look like it's on Game Pass from what I'm reading here. I
No,
should have
that's
looked
what I
this
said.
up before.
It's fine. I didn't catch
Uh,
the Game Pass logo. I think it is something you definitely have to pay for. But what's the price, did you say?
thir 39.99 for all three or 19.99 individually.
So that will be a 35 for us, most likely. Dude, when that launches, that's getting that. Like hot
Yeah.
damn. Like these are the people who they have the falling out with the Metro team, which is why they split and made their own games. But this is like the core
Yeah, it's
foundation
looking
for the Metro games.
it's looking like June 27th PlayStation, and it's currently available on Xbox the for a little
Oh
exclusive
yeah,
window there. So that's a good get. Real good shadow drop there too.
and I will, I'm a lot less in favor of exclusives than you are. But when they're handled like this, so you know that it's on this system, but you also know a definite date that it will be on the other system. I'm in favor for that.
I'm in
To the
favor for
point,
the whole thing. If they would have bought the whole damn game and made it never come to I don't I know that I'm in the minority on this. I've actually been really surprised by how much I'm in the minority on this. Like just scrolling the internet and seeing all the media personalities kind of all come together about this idea of Xbox games going everywhere. I
that's
hate that
that's
shit. I
because
don't.
we bought into to good Big Phil's family vision.
Yeah, I do not at all. I hate it. I hate that idea. I I want each platform to have their own identity. Um, but
No,
yeah,
it's understandable.
Stalker, dude. That's a real good timed exclusive, a real good uh little remaster collection for a good price, man. That's a
That's
real
a
good get.
steal of a price because I was thinking, like I said, I'd pay 70 for that. I wouldn't have grumbled. I wouldn't have batted an eye at it. You're talking because it's not just the fact that it's free games. These games, like to get them running on modern PCs, are a pain in the ass. Like a real toothache. So it must have been a real pain to get them on the consoles and played on a controller. Like, I hope they play well as well. If they play like us, obviously my opinion will heavily change. But
Totally. But for $15 a game, like if you bought it in the
yeah,
package, like it's a crazy, crazy deal. So yeah, man.
so that was the
Those are
partner preview. Um, don't have anything else unless you have any other games that you want to slot in.
no, but great show. Great,
Yeah.
great show. Like, of course, it's it's always the thing, you can't compare a state of play to a PlayStation showcase. You can't compare an Xbox partner preview to an Xbox showcase, like or a developer direct to a full showcase. So going in with very low expectations, this far surpassed that. Of course, overall, it's not like a great show in terms of all-time great showcases, but for this was exactly what I wanted and much more.
No, it goes back to me saying about, it was good that there wasn't a big hitting AAA game. It gave all of these lower, middle of the road games, maybe a little bit higher than that, much more room to breathe and actually present their identity and get them out there
Yeah,
and not be
100% agree.
suffocated. Because when people are going to be reporting on this on news as well, you're going to be having to headline these games. They're not going to be drowned out with a picture of Starfield and stuff like that. So it's really good.
Yeah, for sure, dog. You ready to hit me with some? See,
Oh,
this is the topic going into the achievement hunting topic. I'm really going to kind of sit back on this one. I'm going to let you take the reins and I'm just going to sort of hit questions at you because I'm more obviously, I don't think I'll ever be an achievement hunter, but as somebody who is interested in it, I'm just more kind of curious about the mindset, curious about what makes this such a addictive or such a fun, rewarding system for people who are into it.
mhm.
And yeah, I'm just I have a lot of questions that
Yeah, no,
that
you'll
are
be able
on the
to
top
fill
of
in the
my
gaps because I was the one who formulated the questions that I'll be doing, and obviously writing the answers to the questions. So you
mind.
can interject in on specific questions, or if anything pops into your head, feel free to step in and you know pick my brain on it. But it's obviously something
For
I'm
sure.
obviously to begin, extremely passionate about. When we were talking about setting the podcast up in its beginning. Obviously, the rambling side is you. The achieved is more close to my heart. It was a 50-50 of us both. Um, so the first thing that I've written down would be obviously the obvious thing, like how long have I been doing it for? And officially, I believe the first game 100% was a game called Harm's Way. I don't know if you probably ever touched that because
I don't think so.
it was a digital only Xbox arcade game, and it was a mixture between um God, what's like trying to think of the name. It's a racing game that's set in like canyons and stuff. So it's like sandy dune canyons, and you have the racing aspect of it, but you also have these turrets on the map. So you can, you know, like as a power up, as it were, if in like a Mario Kart game, you're driving through and you're like in sixth place, go to the turret, knock a few people out that are ahead of you while the AI continues to drive your car, switch back to it. So kind of like a Driver San Francisco kind of thing with like the hopping thing. And yeah, it was a really easy list. I think it was only 12 achievements. You could get them all done in like a night. And that was like I was like, that was kind of addicting. That was achievable. It wasn't overly complex and it felt rewarding to get the 100% to see that.
So what year about did you say this was?
So this was 2011.
2011. Okay, so
Mm.
the Xbox 360 had been out for a few years at that point. So you didn't jump into this like right when did the achievement system
Day
begin? Was
and
it right at the
day,
launch of
day and
360?
day and date you had because you had the weird thing of they hadn't established a formula like they do now, where games you launch a game and it's 1,000 game score. It's out of 1,000. I think Condemned One, the first Condemned game, was something crazy like 957 gamer score, and it was just like, oh god. Um, but no, because I didn't. I don't think I had a 360 at launch. I had a PS2 for the longest period of time, and then my dad had an Xbox, an original Xbox, and then a 360. And I remember, I should have studied probably more as a kid. I was a gamer. He was hesitant to get the 360 because I think he probably knew that the more addictive aspects of that, of having an online component as well, would hook you in even more and distract you. And so he wasn't like fully on board with it at first. And so I can't remember exactly what year it is, but you're talking, yeah, like Vegas 2 was like one of the first games I played, the original Mass Effect and stuff like that. So it was like 2008, I believe, maybe 2009. So it took a couple of years to sink its teeth in and get the
Do you
first
think
100%.
do you think that and obviously my brain's all over the board all the time, so you can veer back into the realm of, you know, more linear discussion here, but do you think that if achievement hunting wouldn't have become so prevalent, if it wouldn't have become so something you really clicked with, do you think like has achievement hunting made you much more into games? Like were you playing games just as much on the PS2 and original
Yeah,
Xbox as oh, you were?
yeah. And I can't remember where I put this. Oh, I literally skipped over it to jump to the 2011 thing. The Lego Star Wars games on the PlayStation 2, whenever you'd boot that up, it had the percentage as like the thing smack bang. Straight away, you load that game up and that hands it straight to you. So that was the allure because I did a lot of that in the PS2. I don't think I ever 100% it, but I got very, very close. Like 90% and stuff. So I've always had that itch. But to have these things where they're collected in one place and stored and I can access them at any time and bring them forward as well is really appealing to me.
It's weird
Um,
that like I wish that some of those OG Xbox games had achievements. That's a
yeah.
bummer. You know, the ones that are backwards compatible. It'd be so fun to play through Manhunt or the Warriors or whatever
So it's funny you
to
say
go
that.
through it.
When they announced that backwards compatibility program, obviously they said that the 360 games would have achievements, and there was a massive like, are they gonna give like original Xbox games achievements? Like, are they gonna go like above and beyond? And they obviously didn't end up doing that. But man, that would have been really, really good if they would have been able to pull that off.
It's weird to me that you couldn't do like I've always thought that just the simplistic complete chapter one, complete chapter two, like what's wrong with that? You know, for some of those classic games,
Yeah,
I
they
feel like
could have
that'd be
they could have played it very safe like that. I think that's what some of them PS1 games had, right? With that catalog system that they added. Oh, you obviously, yeah, you're obviously not aware of it. You don't. I think they went down the much more safer route of that,
I
and,
I love
and
that
people are
idea.
happy with it
Yeah.
because you don't always need a difficult list. Like I said, the very first game of that was Harm's Way. There was a 12 achievement list that you could get within 3 hours. And I know there are some people that hold the shield up and are like, the name is an achievement to achieve something, usually of worth or difficulty and stuff like that. But like, I don't think that always needs to be the case.
Well, I don't think worth and difficulty necessarily are because we talked about this before, like those press X to get a
Yeah,
thousand
that
gamer
that
score
takes
like
the
that.
piss. That's not
Yeah,
even a
to
game
me,
at that point.
right. To me, that's worth absolutely nothing. But on the other hand, like if I saw that you had the full list of all the Walking Dead games, even though you really aren't doing much, it's still like that still feels like you actually
You
wanted to play a game and you
you
got something back for it.
and you've experienced a series as well. It's still a story that you've seen from beginning to end.
And and a thing that I actually really like about achievement, the just the system, the structure or trophies or whatever, is it's like a chronicle. It kind of it archives everything that you've
Mm.
played. I think that's cooler than the actual
I think that's
like
what I
just
mentioned to you before, because it kind of I can't remember when it was, but because you were saying like, oh, I never like kept my old account and stuff, and I was like, it was very important for me to keep my account because this is sounds corny, but it's the gaming history of me.
yeah.
What I've done, what I've gone through, all these phases, because you can scroll through the list and it's layered in a way of where when you last played that game is where it is on that list. So you can see things where I went through like a really big phase of like first person shooters or this and that, or I really didn't get on with this series and stuff like that, or holy shit, I forgot that series even existed.
Yeah.
Um,
That really bums me out, especially like because I got real into the PS3. Honestly, after the PS3, I was going back because I missed a lot of that generation. I went back and started picking up a lot of those games and began playing them for the first time. And like, no, I have no real, I can't go back to that and like look through anything, or it's a real bummer. But I think that the I do wonder with how it's all set up now to where and you talked about this before about how it really doesn't matter, the gamer score really doesn't matter because there's so many ways to manipulate it with those press one
yeah,
button.
it used to be extremely important, but now it's become extremely diluted.
But I get what I wanted to ask is like where do you kind of draw that line? For like does difficulty have any value to you at all in hunting for an achievement?
Are
What
you
what
talking
do you
about when I look through my list, or
no, not
if I'm looking at
necessarily.
other people's lists?
I guess just in general, like whenever a game comes out and
Um,
or yeah, how do you view, I guess that's a better way. When you look at someone else's list, do you really
so
give a
with
shit?
with my mindset, I used to be impressed by high numbers, but with the dilution of it and knowing how many of them get pumped out on a thing. So if I see like a 600,000 list, when I first see that number, it's not impressive to me. It's only when I click into their list and I start scrolling and I'm like, okay, they have not touched a single one of these crap games. This is a good list. I don't even need to keep scrolling. Like I know that if you have like The Witcher 3 there and these big when you see like there's somebody who because they have a club on Xbox, which we all post like our completions to and everything, like hundreds of thousands of posts go through it each month of people showing what they've done. And there's this guy, just he's a unit. He's like, I want to do the Yakuza games. He's like the Yakuza master. Like this guy's dusted them off in like record breaking time as well. So like when you're looking through his list and it is of the 600,000 and he's got these games on it, you're like, dude, the guy's a unit. It is impressive. I want to know what else he's got. And the thing is as well, back in the day, I also used that as a metric as to what to choose to play and buy. Because if I'd seen these people who were dedicated achievement hunters and they had played a game I hadn't played or heard of, I was like, if they're giving it a go and they're 100% in the list, it's usually pretty good because it wasn't as addiction driven as it is now. People did it as a passion. So
Does it have a negative impact? Like the addictive element of it?
for many
Because
people, yeah, I can't sit there and say. Obviously, for me, I'm able to like with Lies of P. It's my what I rank that third game of the generation. I'm
I
trying
think
to
so.
100% it. I've paused on it
Mm.
because I don't want to burn out on something. When I can feel myself getting to the point of like I want to play something else, I don't let that loom over me. Like it's very rare. Like obviously I mentioned the Callisto doing that to me, but that was more that's it's a joking thing. If it really did grind me that bad, I would have just put the game down. But I enjoyed the game enough of an extent.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it definitely has addictive tendencies. You see these people like buying these crappy games and pumping that because they're chasing leaderboard places more so than the actual overall number now. That's what
Uh,
drives these people.
yeah. That's such a bummer, man. We talked about that in the last episode, but that really does it doesn't really make any sense to me at all. The chronicling of it is the coolest thing to be able to look
Hmm.
and say, man, I played these awesome games. And even if, because like, I think I'm at like 30 something percent on Jedi Survivor. That's my game of the generation. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't to me, I play it until I'm done and I'm good.
Hmm.
I don't, but just to have it, just to go back and look and go, oh man, RE4 and Jedi Survivor and Starfield and these games, like it brings back memories of the experience that I had with them. It bums like, why would you want to have press X to get 1000 even
Because
on that list?
they're prisoner of the moment. Because like I said
Yeah.
with the Stallion again, once he hit that 2 million milestone, which is what he wanted to hit, that was it for him. Um, he had to get to that 2 million, had to play a lot of them crap games, and he just took a step back and was like, "Look, I enjoyed this. This was a passion, but no, man, not anymore. Like
Yeah.
it's been ruined for me."
Do you think that that could like continue on? And I'm sorry for once again off the rails, but do you think that if you really have you ever, I guess I'll ask you more specifically, have you ever been in a position where you were playing through a game and you're like, dude, this is so good, like a 9 out of 10 quality, but the achievement list was so bad that it bumped like your overall experience down to like a 7 or 6 out of 10? Or,
Oh
or do you try not to let that happen?
no, of course, like it's a big thing of my gaming. So one that immediately springs to mind is it didn't stop me from finishing the game story, but when I get that feeling, let me get that 100% clear. If I feel that it will ruin my overall enjoyment of the game, I'm able to just turn off my brain, the thing that's going like hunt the achievements, hunt the achievement. I'm able to just turn that off and be like, no, it will ruin it. So a
Oh,
game that
cool.
did it, that first Pathfinder game, dude, it has a an achievement called I can't remember what it is, but it's unfair difficulty is what it is, and that is the name. It's unfair difficulty, and it's not sugar coated. Like everything that the game does is stacked against you. You have negative rolls. You have everything is completely put against you, and I just couldn't. I couldn't get through the opening like tutorial section of doing it on that difficulty, and I was like, I've tried this for 2 hours. I just don't care. I love the game,
Yeah.
but I just don't care enough to sit here and devote 150 hours of class experimentation to get through this because it's just not worth the outcome. So I put
Yeah.
it down and was like, okay, I'm just okay with it. I'm happy with just the story completion.
I think that's good because I I was playing a short hike recently,
Mm.
and man, it's so good. And when I was going through the achievement list, I didn't end up getting the 1000, which I don't really go for that. But when I did go through the achievements just to look, it was like everything on there was additive. Everything on there was like you going and finding things in the world that you might miss if you didn't go through the achievement list to go and get it. And like that is perfect. You know what I mean? Where it's aiding the experience by introducing you to things that you might have missed. I think that is the absolute, and which once again, I'm total casual at this. So if you have differing thoughts, let me know. But to me, that's like, yes, dude, show me more about your world. Let me get familiarized with it by wanting to chase these trophies or achievements or whatever the case may be. Do you, how do you feel about that?
So Jedi Survivor is fresh in my mind, having just obviously finished it, and I do plan on 100%ing that as well. I have a lot of like games I've compartmented into my head that I'm like I will go back and 100% that, but I'm just taking a break. So like I'm fine. I'm happy to take a break from Jedi Survivor at the moment. That list is really, really good in Jedi Survivor. And I say that because a lot of people hate missables. I don't mind it if you give me the ability to scoop them up in post game. Once I've finished the story, if I miss a collectible, I have to go back and find it. That's fine. But it's when they gate shut that I really despise for me. Where you're gonna make me there's no chapter select. You're gonna make me run through because like Jedi Survivor's like 20, 30 hours roughly, I believe,
Yeah.
to get finished. I wouldn't even dream of going through that from start to finish and doing everything again just to get that up because that would just ruin the experience. So with Jedi Survivor and the shortcut system as well, the entire world is built around going back to these areas first and foremost. Go experience the story, enjoy it, but come back and find these little extras and stuff like that. And that's perfect. Perfect list.
Do you ever get distracted whenever playing a game? And like you said, you don't really do that. You'll kind of go back if you can. But have you ever been in a situation where you're trying to get the achievements in a straight line and you end up getting distracted by achievement hunting and veer off and you're not like totally tuned in with the story or whatever?
That's an interesting question.
I guess I should say, put it more succinctly, does it ever feel like a distraction? Does it ever feel like
Does it
it
ever
distracts you
feel
away
like
from,
it gets in the way of enjoying the story and stuff like that? Does it impede
right?
upon that? No,
Yeah.
not
Well,
for the 90% of lists and stuff. No, I would say. Um, but it also, like I said, it depends on the list because like going back to Callisto, and I'm sorry, I keep like it's my punching bag, but it really is just it really did sour a lot of things. But how they handle when you lose 100%. So when they add DLCs and additional trophies and achievements, and then when they want you to beat the game again, and then they do another update, and it's like, yeah, beat the game again, and these aren't stackable. So you're telling me I need to beat the Callisto Protocol 4 or 5 times?
and you did
Hmm.
100% that, right?
Yeah, initially. I'm not playing that fucking game 4 more damn times. You're out of your mind. It wasn't that good. Like, and that's what I mean. And it's why it sometimes feels like developers know that they have a lot of pull on the addictive tendency of it. They can get these people back if they put something like that in there. But then you have the outliers like myself where I achievement hunt, but I look at that and I'm like, you're doing this to waste my time. And I just don't care.
Well, yours actually, if you like broke it down, your score, if you broke it down, you started gaming in 2011
Mhm.
and why don't I have a damn
Well, not
calculator
started
app?
gaming, started achievement hunting.
My bad. Right,
Yeah.
right, right. You started achievement hunting in 2011. Like that, and you're at 450,000 now?
Along them lines, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you're talking about I think that's a pretty reasonable time span. 12 years to get 450,000, that would be a little over 3,000 or 30,000 a year,
30,
correct?
yeah, just over, yeah, about 35,000 probably each year.
Yeah, so that's not like I don't think that's irrational by any stretch of the imagination. You got to be gaming. And then, like you said, you actually, the thing that would be super easy to pull off if you're doing the point games, but you're not doing any of those,
People
press
have
a button
done
and
people have done experiments to expose it, like 100% of how ridiculous this has become, of where you can earn, I think, 200,000 gamer score in a month
oh my God, dude.
from this. And that's 200,000 gamer score from not putting yourself in a position where it will impact your day-to-day life. You can keep your 9 to 5 job and still achieve this. You could probably push it even further.
Yikes. Yeah. It's See, that's such a weird I can't even begin to really understand that philosophy. When I look through your achievements, it's like everything in there is a legit game, legit game, legit game. And I don't know, that's just so much cooler to me to be like, okay, this dude from 2000, which I've obviously even before that, but from 2011 when you got the 360, got into it, for that 12-year span, you've been
Mm.
grinding away at this and not even like grinding away per se, but you've been consistently
Yeah,
playing
just chipping
good
away at
games.
things. And with the way I handle it, it's very rarely will I get sucked in for 100% all in one go. I'll
Hmm.
usually hit like a burnout, like I'm doing with Lies of P now. There's nothing against the game. I want to play something else because I really value genre shifting. That's why I play
I do too.
so many different genres. I love Souls-likes, but I want to play something else at the moment. I want to get other stuff in the system. So I have a bunch of other things shelved, just like Lies of P, which I will come back to, like The Witcher 3, for instance. I think I'm only like 10 achievements away from 100% in that.
Shit, yeah. How many hours?
Um, I did 2.5 playthroughs. So probably 180, 190 hour mark.
Yeah, because I'm at like over 50% on the trophy list, which I assume is the same as the achievement list. And I have played, I think close to 100 hours, if not 100 hours, somewhere in that realm.
Hmm.
So yeah,
But that
I because I
was me, the first playthrough. Like I said, I'm like you. I beeline it through the story. I want to just absorb the story, and then in the new game plus is what that second playthrough that was hoovering up everything, monster
right.
hunting, finding all the diagrams, all of this, all of that, all the miscellaneous side stuff.
Yeah, that's such a damn sick game. Um, but yeah, you have one here that I guess we were already kind of sort of in that territory of have you ever 100%ed something that you hate, a game that you hate? And we are kind of discussing that a little bit with Callisto. So you want to tie back into that? Has there been a game you've ever 100%ed that you didn't like or outright hated?
So I literally wrote down Callisto would probably be like it was a sour experience, but I didn't hate it. I hate what they've done with the additional achievements, but this is probably you probably wouldn't have expected this, but like multiplayer games, man.
Oh, I
I
could
have a
see
few of them
that.
on my list, but they always have the same cop out crap of win 100 matches or play 100 hours. 100 hours, like
Yeah, that's almost predatory.
it's and like you'll chip away at that because I enjoy the games like that I've done it for. There was one Rogue Company was a really cool, interesting third person kind of like CS:GO kind of game, but that had a win 100 matches. So that's not even like play 100. I need to win 100 matches. So when you're like 3 rounds down, getting your teeth kicked in, you're like, this is a complete waste of time. And you know, my pride is I'm not going to leave. That's a really terrible thing to do if we're like 2 rounds. You just I stick through it. So I have principles. I'm not going to just abandon ship and just new thingy. But yeah, them types of achievements are they irk me. And the other one that I put down was I did Diablo 3's 100%, and they had a 500 bounty achievement. So you're talking grind out 500 crappy side quests that take about they could go up to like 15 minutes a piece, but I was able to like finagle it a little bit and get it down to about 8 minutes, I believe. But even then, you're talking 8 minutes multiplied by 500, like it adds up. That's hours and hours in the end.
Yeah. So Diablo 3 and the Callisto would be your two main examples.
Diablo 3, Callisto, Battlefield 1943 for the 100 matches, and
Oh,
Inquisitor
right.
Martyr, as of recently, was getting a character to 100, level 100. That was a ridiculous pain.
Yeah. Speaking of that, did you ever play that Inquisitor game, the new one? Have you played that yet?
No,
Or
I was waiting. It was meant to be getting an Xbox release physically, and it
oh,
never got one still. And I think they
huh.
pushed it back to June, I believe now. And I'm like,
Uh,
if it doesn't if that disappears, that listing again, I'll just buy it digitally. But yeah, it looked really cool. That's the
the
or am I
Jesus
thinking? Yeah, the Jesus thing. That's what I was gonna say. I was like, am I misremembering? No, I think it is.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
want to hear from someone I trust if the game's good or not.
oozes Eurojank by the looks of it. So
Oh yeah. Whores filled
I'll be
with
able to
Eurojank.
definitely, like I said, if it gets pushed again, I'll just buy it digitally come June, and I can give my opinion on it, as I have
What?
a very strong Eurojank opinion.
So I'm looking over here at some of the topics. I you have here, would you recommend getting into achievement hunting? And I guess after everything we've went over, everything we've outlined, the state of achievement hunting right now being a little bit hit or miss, and then I'm not really into it, but I am at least aware of it now, and I want to do a better job of making sure I keep track of all this stuff, as an adult now, and I can actually keep these accounts, and I'm not, you know, 14 years old on my PlayStation 3 with my mom's email and all that. Like I have everything set up so I can do a better job of keeping track of it. Now that I'm aware of how cool it is to keep that chronicle, just keep that log game stored away. But in terms of everything we've went over about the state of achievement hunting or trophy hunting, whatever, would you say it would be worth getting into in 2024
Right,
and doing
what
it the right way?
the right way? Something people forgot as well. It exploded in God, what was it? When's Halo 3 came out? When was that?
Oh, seven?
2007, 2008, round about them margins. You had the channel Achievement Hunter on YouTube, and they kind of brought it to the mainstream and the public eye that, Achievement Hunting, that's really cool. And because there's two different, I guess, ways of doing it, and it was their way where you're not 100%ing a list. That's not what they're doing. They're focusing on like a challenging achievement or something really wacky or stupid or creative, and they would spend an entire video working on that. So you could have them types of players where, they don't really care about 100%, but they care about, for instance, you could have people who are really passionate about beating games on their hardest difficulty. You could have somebody be like, "Yeah, man, I didn't 100% Wolfenstein, but I beat all the Mein Lebens on it. That's impressive. Even if you didn't get 100%, that's probably more impressive than getting the 100% or getting Death March achievement in The Witcher 3 and stuff like that." Or you have, yeah, the 100%, which is where I kind of swing back and forth on. Um, I don't 100% everything, but I try and 100% the things that I enjoyed the most or that left an impression. So I would recommend getting into it because it is a an additional enjoyment. Instead of just finishing the game, you could have an extra goal that's driving you, and it can kind of maybe be that extra pull as to instead of just finishing the story, maybe checking out these cooler side things that you might have missed out on, be they mini games or quests.
Yeah. And that kind of, sort of ties into like the ideal list of, when I was talking about a short hike, just loving how that was set up to where you're going and finding new things because of the list. What would your ideal list look like? Would it be something like that where there's a tinge of difficulty? There's also the aspect of going out and finding, new things that you wouldn't have previously stumbled upon in the game world, because that's the coolest thing about achievements to me, is that because, there's so much in the industry in general. You have people that cover the industry who just, not trying to be controversial here, but kind of just do a piss poor job of engaging with the content, and like will try to give takes on games that they're not really playing. And
Mm,
I could give a shit less if you, you know, to me, if you're reviewing a game, finish it. That's really the only criteria I would look to. It's just if you want to put a concrete review on a game, finish it. And I think that I love that about the achievement tracking, is that you can see at the very least who
yeah,
is
it's evidence.
putting the
Yeah,
time. Yeah. I love the evidence part of it. I want to
yeah,
track your shit. Not
yeah.
not really. Like I don't
No,
actually want
it
to.
gives the opinion credibility. When I sit here and I turn around and say, with the stuff with like Yakuza and stuff, I enjoyed the series, but I have evidence that I can only speak for this current point on the story. I
Right.
can't sit there and be like, I'm gonna dissect every minute detail of the mini games and side quests because I didn't interact with all of them. So
Yeah.
I don't give opinions on that. I don't turn around and say they're absolutely amazing or they're absolutely crap. That's voided. I don't comment on that part. And that's how it should
Totally.
be.
Yeah, and I, just to be clear, I don't want to even act like the the problem is not the fact that, because I don't give a shit what someone's trophy percentage or achievement percentage is on a game, or what their score. Like I could care less. But it is always, and you've seen it happen so many times, where a journalist gives X game a 6 out of 10, and then it's like pulled up that they, didn't finish the game. They got to chapter 4. It's like, oh my God, dude, you can't. There is just, I like the idea of having some level of accountability baked into the, and I know that there's issues even within that structure, but I like just at least that little bit of consistency where it's like, okay, hey, you gave Uncharted 4 a 9 out of 10. Let's see why. You know what I mean?
Mm. So a name I'll drop him, which I don't know if many people would have heard. Um, Mortismal Gaming is the guy's name, and he's like flown to the top as of recently. And what he did differently in his reviews was they were reviews after 100%. You're talking this man has done everything the game has to offer and then will give his opinion on something. And these aren't short games. Like you're talking he's done this for like Pathfinder, for Baldur's Gate 3. He's already got one out. Like this man has seen like obviously with a pinch of salt for Baldur's Gate 3, with them turning around and saying it has like 1,000 different endings. Like he's
Right.
seen every single major ending and the majority of the little bit below them kind of endings and stuff. But the guy, I trust his opinion and 100% because he puts in the effort. Like when he has something to say on something, you sit and listen
Yeah.
because he's put in that time and he's done these other titles and yeah, it's just really, really good.
Yeah. And I think that probably the majority of course, the majority of journalists aren't able to 100% anything, because they're playing such a variety of content. There are so many games consistently, and that's totally fine. The just the issue is like, hey, if you are talking about a game and you can back it up with some evidence, some fact, I think that's
Mm,
just my favorite thing about the system in general. And I've said it 100 times, just the log to be able to sit there and look at that and and have a recorded, reported history of what you've played. I think
yeah.
that's definitely my favorite part of the thing. And I don't think anybody's really expecting, like it's dope as hell, and you're always going to give more weight to an opinion that has that extra effort put into
Yeah,
it to like the guy you were talking about to get the 100%.
yeah,
Um
Mortismo.
yeah, to you're always going to put more weight in those opinions. But like I don't nobody's really expecting IGN reporters to 100% games that they're reviewing. That's not rational at all, you know.
No, my semantic of that is it shouldn't be called a review. They should be rebranded as first impressions. And this kind of like I have a lot of that kind of like mindset of where these established words are being completely misused, like a walkthrough and a playthrough, or a let's play, sorry. They're two different things,
Hmm.
yet they are constantly used interchangeably. Like a let's play is if you just sat here right now and played a game. You
Right.
you put in your game and you are playing it, you are recording yourself, and you may have played the game in the past, but you don't have intimate knowledge of stuff. Whereas a walkthrough is you are walking somebody through every aspect of that game. You are
Even a
showing
playthrough
them.
would probably right? That'd be fine. Just to
Yeah,
put playthrough on there instead of walkthrough. Walkthrough is like a very
yeah,
specific
that's a
thing.
very
Yeah.
strong. Like I say, it's probably a little. Some people won't feel as strongly and be like, ah, shut up. But it is. It's an. You're not using it in the correct sense. And when an IGN reviewer reviews a game, they don't review it. They are giving you their first impressions, and very rarely is it an in-depth, complete understanding of everything and a comprehensive breakdown. It's just not.
See, I'm with you on the walkthrough thing, without a doubt. Like that does suck to call something a walkthrough and it's not walking you through the process
Mm.
of what completing the game. Like, but review, I will say, is weird because if so, hold on, let me make sure. What are you saying that reviews should be only after you've finished the game or only after you've 100%ed it?
Oh no, after you've finished. The
Oh,
hundred
then
the hundred
yeah.
the 100% thing, that's above and beyond. Like
Okay,
that's ridiculous. Like that's why I put Mortismo in a league of his own. Like he is above and beyond other reviewers because he puts in that extra effort. Seeing the credits
totally.
roll, of course you can formulate an opinion off of that. You didn't
Okay,
do
yeah, that
everything Jedi Survivor had to offer. You saw the credits roll. You can give a perfectly fine breakdown of every aspect of the game that you
okay.
experienced. That's yeah, and that
Yeah,
can be
we're
a
at
review.
100.
But the IGN reviews don't even do that. Like you said, they don't even finish most of the games. That's the thing that I have a problem with. You can't. That's a first impressions.
Yeah.
If you do not see the credits roll, and the only way I'll let them cop out of this is if the game is completely unplayable or really, really, really bad. Where
Yeah.
you're like,
Eh,
don't even bother, guys. Just don't.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
that's like
understandable.
the entirety of the review is like don't even don't even attempt. Yeah, I hear you on that for sure. That would be my only criteria for because I don't think that I don't really I don't really give a shit about most. I really don't give a shit about what anybody else is doing, to be totally honest. Like I just could care less. No offense, but to me, an IGN review or a GameSpot review or any of these
Not landing a job
major,
there now.
I'm fine. But like the I put no weight into
No,
GameSpot review or an IGN review, and it's not. And here's the thing: is it's nothing at all to do with the company itself. But it's also everything to do with the structure of the company. It's the fact that I don't know. I would have to know each individual reviewer's tastes to even understand what that score means. Because if I see, you know, Mark Jones gives Star Wars Jedi Survivor a 9 out of 10, but then Lisa Frank gives Yakuza 8 an 8 out of 10. It's like, okay, well, I those are two totally different people. So the number just means absolutely nothing. The only way to really get any insight into the review process or the scoring or whatever would be to follow that one individual person and keep track of what they're scoring individually, separated from the IGN system. And that's hard as hell.
I also just don't place very much weight in like numbering. Like we do it as a entertainment thing, when we're because it's the easiest way to represent that. But if I'm watching a reviewer like Mortismal doesn't do any number, he gives you a comprehensive breakdown, and the master of this, and sadly, who's no longer with us, was Total Biscuit. He didn't do any
Yeah.
numbering bullshit. He gave you every breakdown of the game and allowed you to formulate an opinion off of that. Obviously, he did some tongue in cheek. That's just British humor that he would slide in and stuff like that. But the whole numbering aspect, I don't really hold it in much weight.
I love numbers so much, man.
I'm sorry, but yeah, they just. I would rather of the two. I would much rather read an extremely lengthy article breaking down many aspects, all the components of it, and all of that side, than just scroll to the bottom and just see out of five. Oh, it's a 4 out of 5 because that tells me
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, I cannot sit here and lie to you, dude. I would love to say I'm in your camp on that one, but every single, but it's also it's a different thing. Like if I'm tuning into, back at my favorite, see, so here's the thing. My favorite show ever, gaming related show ever was Frame Trap from Easy Allies.
All right.
And when Ben Moore was hosting, which when Bradley Ellis was hosting, it was excellent too. But when Ben Moore was hosting it, the original host, like they would dive so deep into every individual game, and that was my favorite show, just to sit there and listen to like full discussions about these
Mm-hmm.
games, unscripted, no notes, just straight. Well, probably took notes, but like it's all real discussion about the games, and so I love deep breakdowns about and Bradley Ellis has the Summon Sign show now with Last Stand, which is a similar thing, and it's absolutely excellent. I listen to every episode. Love that style of comprehensive breakdown for individual games. But here's the thing, going back to it again, if Mark Jones from IGN, if I like his reviews, I don't know if when his next review is going to be. So when
Yeah,
I'm looking at IGN, I'm just going to the number unless I see, okay, it's from Mark Jones or from Lucy,
no, that's fair.
whoever,
That's
you
fair.
know?
Because very few of them can have that level of work ethic to get through it. Because you're talking Mortismal did Baldur's Gate 3's 100% in like less than a month.
I mean, that's
Like the guy is
15
a
hours a day.
the guy is a freak of nature. Like,
Yeah. I mean, that would have to be like 15 hours a day, right? You're
well, he had
talking,
he had access to obviously the early access, but
oh, right.
going from start to finish, starting new characters and everything, and formulating all
Okay.
the different changes. So he already had a massive chunk already pre-established from the whatever it was like in early access for like 3 years on PC, maybe I think maybe longer.
Right. Yeah.
Even then, you're
Damn.
talking even that month, just getting that out within the hottest time that you could put it out to catch the buzz, and he was still able to get that in a game like that.
But see, and it's like I'll have to check this dude out, but it's sick that his name holds weight because it should. Like
Mm,
when you are willing to give your community that level of a breakdown and that level of commitment to the product, even if your breakdown isn't necessarily the best, if you are just committed to trying to understand a product that well and trying your best to convey your thoughts based off of a very comprehensive understanding of the game, like that is so it's so rare for one, but for two, it's also so valuable.
mm,
Like you don't get that often at all. And just the fact if someone says, "Okay, hey, I put 200 hours into this thing and it's, my favorite game of all time." and you can see that they do that sort of due diligence. Like that holds so much more weight than even like an opinion like mine, where I don't ever do shit like that.
I mean, yes
But
and no. Your opinion will hold weight to those who, value your opinion. If somebody tunes in and they know that they have extremely similar taste, that is the most important thing, hands down, regardless of how comprehensive and stuff. If somebody tunes into your channel and they turn around and go, okay, I know that he likes Evil West. Dude, I love Evil West. He likes Sleeping Dogs. Holy shit, two for two.
yeah,
GTA. And they start rattling, and OG Resident Evil is like, man, this is a match made in heaven. Anything that releases that is even within that ballpark, your word will be taken as gospel because they know that you have extremely similar tastes. You look at the same things. So that is also the most important
right.
thing.
Well, and yeah, I guess you're right in the sense of like the genre specific, kind of the genre specific, because there are certain people that I go to. Okay, well, it, a sports game, I'm gonna go to X person because I know they're very, very knowledgeable in that field. And I guess third person action adventure games, that's a wide genre, but that is absolutely that is my
Throw a
lane for sure.
dart.
But what's that?
I said throw a dart. There's so many people that would review them.
Right, yeah.
So popular.
Um, But going back to your because I got you way off track here again. Um,
We're at a whole different train station.
yeah, we are. I think we went to the ideal type of list, and did you cover that?
So I don't think I added a name, but what I it's a game that you've played, and I think you really, really love it. It's Control, man. Like Quantum Break was a really, really fun game and also a really strong list, but Control's list is as perfect as you could probably get.
Really?
There's hardly any frustrating achievements that you need to get. You don't even need to get 100% of the collectibles because funnily enough, it was bugged at release. So they reverted it. I think you only need to get 80% or something along them lines because that was their fix instead of trying to fix why it's not popping for the 100. But the miscellaneous stuff of going, like, giving you an excuse to go to these wacky, crazy, off the side things. Like, I don't know how much side shit you did in Control. I did
I
obviously
don't
everything
know.
for the 100%. Dude, fridge duty. Did you see that? Do you
I
know what I'm talking about?
don't. I don't off the top of my head.
When you go, she obviously becomes the head of the bureau, and she's going and finding out what the hell's like going on. And you get into like the central chamber area where they've got all these locked up things. It's like a massive circular chamber, and there's just this guy breaking down in tears. And you're like, what's up? And he's like, I'm on fridge duty, man. And like, no one's relieved me of this. And she's like, fridge duty? He's like, I need to stare at this fridge because if I look away, this thing will kill me. I've been sitting here staring at this fridge for like 30 hours and no one's come and got me. And you're like, dude,
I
okay, I need to go back and like tell the guy who's running this like area what the hell's going on. And you go back to him and he's like, Jeff, he's still doing fridge duty? What the fuck? I
I don't
completely
think I
forgot.
I don't think I ever saw that.
And that's what I mean. They're magical moments where like you obviously blitz through the story, and that's not like a hit against you. Like I do that as well, but you're talking like these massive, impactful, like hilarious moments that you can miss out on because you're not going back to these previous areas, getting these like side quests and stuff. Because it
yeah,
also
that's
you go in there and that's funny as shit, like full stop, and they could have just ended it there. It ends in a really cool, unique boss fight as well.
damn, man. Yeah, that I'm like bummed out now. I got a 41% completion on Control. So I'm trying to find, I can't even find it's the name of the trophy or achievement's Fridge Duty.
I don't think it was, no, it wasn't a specific, it was tied to 100%ing the
Oh,
game of like doing X amount of quests and stuff.
okay,
So you go
okay.
through and you have to go through them areas to get collectibles and stuff.
I got you. Okay. Yeah.
But
That's
dude,
sick as hell. I didn't even
fucking
know about
fridge
that.
duty, man. It was amazing.
That's so freaking cool, man.
And
Yeah.
there's
So
so many aspects in that game where this is why I hold Remedy in such high regard because when you 100% a Remedy game, you see everything creatively they have to offer. Like you're talking like, because I think it was the Casper Darling dance. Did you see that? The guy where he does the dance in the motel. He's playing.
is that in the main story?
Yeah. You go to
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
motel again and again and again. And you finally go into one of the rooms towards the end of the game, and it's the main
Oh,
scientist guy, and
yes.
he does the stupid dance thing.
Yes.
It's just what I mean. Like, it's just, it's full of moments like that that you miss out on. I'm glad they scatter some of these in the main story, but you miss out on so much of that
Yeah.
by not going through the 100. Yeah, they just reward
You
you.
you haven't played. You're in the same boat with me. You're waiting for Alan Wake 2 to get a physical.
Yeah, where's my physical, man?
Okay. I wonder how they did you play the first one?
I played Alan Wake. I played Alan Wake American Nightmare.
And it's the same with all of those where the 100% list aids the experience by like
Um,
offering up or is control unique?
so Quantum Break kind of established that kind of achievement list.
Hmm.
Um, Alan Wake had similar aspects, but it has that thing of where you get the point of no return because it wasn't like Control in like an open world aspect. And I think in Quantum Break you could chapter select, whereas in Alan Wake
Got
it's
you.
just you go from A to B and that's it. Once you're done with the story, there's no going back to these areas. You miss that shit, unlucky. Play through the
I
whole game
see.
again.
I
So
see.
that knocks it a little bit. So it's why Control is so like one it probably top five favorite game of all time. Like in that top five realm,
Damn.
like it really is powerful when you go through that 100%. It adds so much to the experience.
That's so awesome. And you had that down your top five favorite games that you've ever 100%. And do you want to, is I'm assuming Control's number one on that or top somewhere?
Oh, it's not number one.
Hit me. I want to
Um,
know what number one is.
so let me have a look. What did I put number five? Oh, number five, I put any football manager game. Dude, it's an addiction. They've been adding these on Game Pass for like the past 3, 4 years. I've 100% each of them, and it's just a childhood addiction that just will never go away.
I feel that.
Um, I just feel at home because you probably, whenever you come on Xbox, you probably see me like half the time. It's probably on Football Manager, just chilling.
Yeah, I've seen you play football, man. But I'm the same way. Like, if, well, not lately, but NBA 2K, man, that I would just, not for achievement purposes or
No,
trophy
it's just a
like, I would just,
winding down game. It's a
yes,
comfort game. Like I 100% them like almost on accident. Like the list,
yeah.
like I'm doing just everything.
That's a
Oh
topic for another video, diving into our comfort, like our comfort food
yeah.
games, because that, yeah, that's such a crucial component of gaming that I'm actually just now kind of getting to appreciate more. But go ahead, hit me with the top four.
Number four, Elix 2. Love me some Piranha Bytes Jang. Um, the way they sprinkle in secrets to their world is really good. It was a little bit less impressive as Elix 1, but I didn't 100% Elix 1 yet. But dude, when you get the unlimited jetpack thing, that game is just it's the Iron Man game that we are missing. Like
Yeah,
if Piranha Bytes can pull this off, why the hell has someone not made an Iron Man game? I don't understand it. It baffles me.
dude.
Control is number three. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, no, no. I was gonna say, I was worried that they were gonna cancel that Iron Man game from EA during all the respawn getting
No, they
their
just
first
shot the
person.
Mandalorian in the back of the head. Little bastards.
But it seems like Iron Man and Black Panther are still they're still
I
moving
don't
forward with
want Black
those.
Panther. I want Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's what I was. I mean, I'm so down for a Black Panther game and an Iron Man game. I fucking love superhero games. I know that I'm in the minority. Well, I don't know about minority, but I know people are kind of getting sick and tired of the DC MCU whatever
if
crossover
they're
in the game
if they're
space.
pulled off well, but like for me, like I never was interested in Black Panther as a character. I'd keep the Iron Man game, but like man, Mandalorian is like before the Jedi two games that come out, Survivor and Fallen Order, like that was the only thing really keeping Star Wars afloat for me.
Well, and it's like, dude, Respawn, Titanfall 2, obviously they have the pedigree
Hmm?
to make a fantastic Mandalorian video game. And I mean, imagine if they could fully go into all those systems of tracking the bounty
You
and
had the bounty system in its concept in Jedi Survivor. You
right,
had them
yes.
flirting with them concepts.
That shit's
And if
cool
they
as hell
could
how that pops up
exactly,
naturally too.
yeah. And if they that do an entire game and just fully fleshed it out, but yeah,
Yeah.
just wasn't meant to be. Another, I think I read an article, another bounty hunter game cancelled. You think of like the original Prey thing that they leaked back in the day,
Hmm.
Star Wars 1313, this
Yeah,
Mandalorian
man.
game, like bounty hunter games are cursed.
And look at KOTOR, the remake of KOTOR. It seems
Mm.
like Star Wars games other than friggin' Jedi are cursed. Because even Battlefront, those games, I mean, they didn't hit nearly as hard as they probably should have. The
No, and
last
it's
two.
it's weird because did you see that the two classic games are being re-released with like actual online multiplayer components? They're
Well,
coming out
yeah,
in
I
a few
think
months.
those are probably going to be a whole hell of a lot bigger than
Exactly.
the.
It's like
It's crazy.
you could have just saved all the money from them two big budget Frostbite, DICE, Battlefront games and just re-released them, saved a shitload of money and made more money.
Yeah, that kind of ties back into the last thing we were talking about on the other episode, though. It's like, man, let's return to doing weird shit, weird
Mm.
retro kind of. Yeah, let's return to. Hey, anyways, hit me with your next three.
Number three, Control. And yeah, I was looking at number one and number two. It's got to be number three, and that's because both Pillars games come in at number two. Do I really need to say for the 100th millionth time how much I love the Pillars franchise? Like they were very, very great games to 100%. But number one is something I don't think you ever would have probably guessed this. Maybe after 60 guesses, you might have scratched it. It's actually Gwent. The Witcher card game had a
I didn't
spin-off,
even.
had its own standalone, and they released it on consoles.
I did not even know that.
And it was in a closed beta form for about 8 months, which I was a part of. And then they slowly opened it to the public. And then when they opened it up to the public, I realized, holy shit, I'm really good at this. I'm topping like top 100 every single season.
Jesus.
Like this, and because they were fully pushing like pros, like they were integrating pros really well and wanting to like challenge us with like Hearthstone and Magic, and then they just cut support for console,
Oh,
and it was like, would it, you think could I there was a chance that that could have been a career that I could have gone down of where
damn.
that's a missed opportunity that slipped straight through my fingers, and it's just like that's unfortunate. But I won't ever forget how impactful that game was for me because it introduced me to a really strong community, the Gwent community, really passionate people, and can't even, it must have been like 2017. Like that YouTube scene was one of the most tight knit communities until they did something called Homecoming, which basically just ruined and everything just fell apart. And the game kind of fell off. They pulled it from PlayStation and Xbox, and it's
Damn.
an unfortunate ending. But the thing that also is so important is not only me being such a huge Gwent fan and Witcher fan, dude, that game was only live for less than a year. It has a very low 100% player count, and I'm one of them. So I'm prideful of that.
That's sick as hell. Do you know why they pulled support for console? Just not a big enough player base to warrant the. Oh yeah.
They wanted the mobile market, and they sat there and they turned around and said, PC's doing well, mobile will do exceptionally well. Console games don't do very well with card games. We're going to cut both of them off so that we can fully go in on the mobile market.
Did you never try playing it on the phone?
Oh, dude, I played a few seasons, but you're talking like how to like put it into like perspective. You're talking almost the level of a shift of like a turning it from a turn-based game to like a first-person shooter in the way of they changed every aspect of the game.
Oh,
So by the time I picked it back up, it was like, man, I've fallen so far behind. It's a card game that's online, so if you don't have the meta cards, which you need to buy or sit there and grind out, you're not competitive. So
yeah.
yeah, an unfortunate thing, but you know that would be number one for me.
That's such a bummer, but at least it's a sick story
Mm.
leading up to the point of shutting down
Almost,
this.
almost a Gwent Pro.
You're the guy, the high school dude with the
Mm.
I could have been
Yeah,
there.
and I could have
I
been
could
in the
have.
NBA. I didn't eat so many hamburgers.
Dude, I swear to God, I went to the doctor as once again off the rails when I'm jumping back. My doctor, when I was in seventh grade. I was this size in seventh grade. I was 6'2", over
Jesus
200
fucking
pounds.
Christ.
And I was pretty damn good at basketball. And my doctor's like, "Oh yeah, you'll probably be 6'8", 6'9". Easy. I was like, "Oh dude, I'm a millionaire. I'm going to the NBA without a doubt. At least going to Europe or something." And my ass did not grow a single inch since seventh grade. I have not grown not at all. I'm the exact same height that I was in seventh grade. Don't
That's
know what the hell that.
crazy.
I was so bummed out, man. Throughout the years, like, damn, I'm just,
I could
God,
have been
God,
a
I'm,
Dennis Rodman.
I swear to God, I'm wearing my damn eighth grade Letterman jacket. It still fits. But
That's great.
no man, but that yeah, that's such a fucking bummer though. It really is a bummer whenever you're like right there and it's like
Yeah,
pulled away from you. But the experience is really what matters and the fact that
no,
you still
exactly. And
would
I have the memories, and it's also the thing of, I don't know how it would have turned out. What if I would have jumped head first and seriously failed? That's a thing you need to fully commit to.
yeah,
What happens if I don't place in the top 100 in 6 months? I'm
right.
nobody. Like at that point, like you only get prize money if you win. So
That is very, very true. Committing to a yeah, that
mm,
yeah, it's like it's almost like gambling. It is gambling
mhm.
in a sense, you know. That's
And to
uh,
those that did fully commit and it did pay off for them, man, touche to you, man.
what type of payouts are you talking? Big money?
They, if you would be able to store, I think, because the big buzz around it was they were able to swoop up an ex Hearthstone pro. That was like their first move into getting Gwent on people's radars. Was like, holy crap, we secured this man. Here's a big prize pool. Um, I'm getting like 150 notifications as I open up my phone now.
I mean,
So you're talking the latest one was $71,000, which isn't bad for like a niche card game when you think about it. Like, okay, it's not like
yeah.
the payout of like a CS:GO tournament, but you're talking they don't bring in anywhere near the amount of numbers. Uh,
So would that be okay? So is that event the one event for the year, or do they have like multiple 10, 12 events per year that pay around the same thing?
um, I haven't obviously kept up with it.
Right, right. Yeah, I guess that's true. Because I mean, if
So
you could,
Gwent mid-season tournament 2023, $20,000. 2022 10,000, 2022 10,000, 2022 17.5. It's about three tournaments a year.
Yeah, that's tough. Because I mean, if you it would be impossible to make it a full-time thing unless you won every single
No,
tournament.
and that's why they obviously dipped into the streamer side of things. That's how you got
Hmm.
yourself propelled. It
Bingo.
was
That makes
nice to
sense.
if you landed them extra paychecks when you won the tournaments, but and because they would also be what's the word I'm looking for here? When they host the tournaments, a lot of the announcers were streamers of Gwent. So you'd pull them in because they have the knowledge. They'd be able to keep up
Right.
conversation for 8 hours. So you'd
That
be
makes
landing yourself
sense.
a paycheck from CDPR that way as well.
That makes total sense.
But
But
'twas not to be.
so looking over this list here, and I guess one that would make sense to tie into that is games to begin the achievement hunting process with. What would be a couple that you would recommend people jumping into achievement hunting?
Um, so I'm not the type of person. I'm not the elitist thing of where you need to play the hardest thing, do this, do that. Like something as simple like what got you back into gaming heavily, you said was like The Wolf Among Us. That was a
V game, yeah.
massive, massive impact for you. That's an extremely easy list to get 100% on. So something like that, like a Telltale game, you've seen it with the Sony first party exclusives. Spider-Man is not only an incredible game, it's a very easy to 100% list. It's very digestible. And it's why they sell so well and why the trophy community exploded in the way it did. They kind of picked up the torch from the Xbox community and they're burning brighter than ever. So,
Yeah,
like an Insomniac Spider-Man, or another one I wrote down was Abzu. There's another one. Really nice chill game. Or Control.
right. Yeah. I mean, the crazy thing with like Spider-Man, I never think about the trophies in those games at all. And I'm always, after I finish it, like 50, 60% of the way through
Mm,
it just by playing it. So yeah, I would imagine those are pretty simple to burn through just with probably an extra 10 hours after you finish the game, something
yeah.
like that, if that.
And they don't get in the way of the enjoyment, like you said, they don't take away from the story. Like a lot of it is incorporated into just doing what Spider-Man would do. You go around, you're fighting crimes, and you're doing this, and you're doing silly stuff. There was one where you take a picture at the top of Stark Tower. Was one of them. So
Totally.
yeah, they're just
Are th
incorporating it well into the world.
are there any others on this list that you want to hit on here? I'm looking through. I think we've cleared a good bit of them. Let's
Um,
see.
touch a little bit on like the negative side, I
Okay.
guess, because we've been fairly positive.
Yeah.
Um, so let me just tick these so that they stand out when I look over them.
Hmm.
Right. A game I wish I could 100% but can't. And that's of the not of the way where I said about Pathfinder and stuff. This is it's impossible. Like you cannot, even if I had the skill, the list doesn't let me. And this is Mad Max. And it's because it has one achievement that is tied to their stupid servers.
Oh, Jesus.
So this is a single player game that has a currency collecting component when you're offline. They shut the server down, it doesn't do that anymore, and now the entire list is unobtainable. And I
It's
know that,
WB, right?
yeah, yep,
Bingo.
yep. And oh, I know I enjoyed the game, played through it, but it's one of them things where, like, as I said, I pride myself and I want 100% the things I love. I love that game. That Mad Max game was fucking brilliant. So to know that I will never be able to get it, because of a stupid decision like that in an entirely single player game. You're not even talking like it has a co-op like where some guy plays as the guy in the back of your car, whatever the hell his name was. Entirely single player game. So this links in with opinions on unobtainables and server shutdowns. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. And I don't think a game should have online related achievements unless it is a multiplayer game. Even if this game has a multiplayer component, I don't think it should have any achievements tied to that because you've seen this The Last of Us. All these PlayStation fans that are getting hooked into this, they'll be like, "Oh man, I want to play I want to get all the Sony first party things." They can't do like Killzone and Resistance games because they've had server shutdowns. They can't do The Last of Us, the first game, because of the faction stuff. That's all shut down. Uncharted, you can't get the 100% on them because they had multiplayer, and it's a real shame, a real shame.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I don't understand really having multiplayer related achievements unless, like you said, it's a live service game or something.
Yeah,
If you
unless
got
it's
a single
entirely
player,
multiplayer, then that makes sense to me. I'll be like, okay, yeah, sure.
because I even see it in Gears of War sometimes. Like when I played through the
Oh
first
God.
game, it's like, Jesus, man, why are so many of these trophies related to, you know, some sort, or achievements? But yeah, at least with those games, you can boot them up and play through it with a buddy or whatever, like couch co-op.
You don't even know the can of worms you've just opened
Oh
mentioning
no,
Gears of War.
is that a brutal one?
They got worse with every single game.
Oh really?
You must have heard of Seriously, right? Or have you
I
no
don't.
idea? So Seriously is the name of the achievement, and every single Gears of War game has a Seriously achievement, and it is known for being the most stupid, waste your time, be my bitch for the next 100. Because think of this, yeah, the Gears of War came out, multiplayer wasn't all that big. The first Seriously achievement, they just want you to get 10,000 kills in multiplayer. Just just go get 10,000 kills. That's a
Jesus.
lot of kills. And then you're thinking, Jesus Christ, Gears of War comes out. People are looking through the list. Please don't be a Seriously achievement. Please don't bring that shit back. Seriously 2.0, kill
Oh,
100,000 people. Are you out
oh
of your
Jesus.
mind?
Yeah, that's
Gears of War
silly.
3, Seriously 3.0, and they just kept adding and adding and adding until, you're at Gears 5 now and it's like Seriously 5.0 and you're talking like 400 hours, 500 hours of grinding just to get
Hell
this
no.
one thing.
No offense to Gears, but I'm
Ain't
good
that
after my
fucking
eight.
good? Yeah.
Yeah, give me my 8 hours and I'm out. I'm happy with
That's enough
my.
bro shooter testosterone.
I just watched. I feel like I plugged damn Last Stand Media more than I plug my own shit, but I just watched uh Cliff Blazinski.
Hmm.
Am I saying that
Yeah,
right?
Cliff Bleszinski. Yep.
Yeah, I just watched him. He did an interview with Colin Moriarty on Sacred Symbols, and I was like, yeah, it makes sense that this is the guy that created Gears of War.
Yeah, yeah. I not to speak, ill on
No,
them, but
he's brash.
he reminds me of is it John Romero, the one that did Doom, one of the
Yeah,
developers? Like they are
yeah.
they have a lot of self-importance and worth, a lot more than they probably should. Because he even came out and said, because I think it was the interview where he was like, "Look, man, I'm here, Microsoft. Hit me up for a Gears 6." And it's just like,
Yeah. He
dude,
talked about that on the interview,
don't.
and I kind of do see what he was saying though. Because they, like, the media went and spun it in this crazy way where he said, according to him, once again, I have no fucking idea, but he said that it would be a good PR hit.
Yeah, in
to
for that one, but I'm talking. He's done that. That's like the fourth time he said that.
oh
Like you're talking when Lawbreakers came out, he was like, "Yo, dude, hit me up for like Gears 5. Let's go." And it's like, dude, you have no
oh
pedigree anymore. Like you've lost it all. Like why the hell are they gonna hire you? That'd be like Peter
yeah.
Molyneux coming back and be like, "Hit me up for this Fable." Like
But you
no,
know,
that ship has flown.
yeah, I guess yeah, you're probably right. A part of me, like, I would really be down to see a new Peter Molyneux directed game. Like, I would really be interested in seeing him back in the console more. I think all those, here's the thing. There's obviously nostalgia tied to this, but I kind of miss that slightly more egotistical attitude
Yeah,
from,
no, I could see that. They
you
had
know,
instead of it being corporate soulless crap,
yes,
people up on stage like because I've said this time and time again about Peter Molyneux. Look, man, the guy's not a bad guy when it came to the Fable games. He wanted to deliver them things, he just couldn't.
yeah.
He should have just shut up, but that's what passion does. Like he's like, you can plant a tree and you can watch the tree grow. And it's just like, yeah, that's not gonna happen, Peter. Like if you
No,
sim
dude. You're 100% right. Because, like, when I think back to David Jaffe and even Kojima now, Kojima is like the last of that breed of people that will thump their chest a little bit. And it's like, of course, it gets irritating and people can get tired of seeing Kojima pop up at Summer Games Fest to announce his new podcast. And it's like, okay, this is a bit crazy, but at the same time, like those type of people are so few and far between now that I don't know. It would just be kind of cool to see someone with a little bit of confidence talk about their game. And
yeah.
confidence and arrogance is a very fine line. And I think that some of those early PS2 era, PS1 era developers might have skewed a little bit more towards the side of arrogance, but I don't know. I have nostalgia for some cocky attitudes of
No,
that
because
era.
it get it because my opinion on Cliff is, I don't think he should be a part of the next Gears game because he hasn't earned his way back in. Like, is my point. But you see all of these people when they're doing their interviews with what was it, the developer direct and everything.
Mm.
It doesn't have that. What's the word? The specialness of where. Like, I'm sorry, these are just normal people, and that's all well and good.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, this is your job, and you are still passionate about it, but you're not riling us up. You're not getting the blood pumping. You're not, you know.
Yeah. No, dude, I'm with you. I kind of miss like the era of the fucked up creative person where it's like they look like they might have been out on a 12-day bender and and they're strolling in to do their PR and they're saying some outlandish shit because their mind is not they're cognitively impaired to the eighth degree. Like, I don't know. There was of course where we're at now is probably better for everybody involved.
Yeah, for the
Like the
mental health state of the things, but for entertainment purposes, because you had back to John Romero, he initially pitched that he wanted to be on the front cover of the Doom guy at the front.
yeah.
He wanted it to be him doing that pose, and it was like, John, come on, bro.
Dude, I love
No.
that. I love that so much. I love the idea. Like, I really wish that Neil Druckmann or uh Ken Levine or I'm trying to think of other people off the top of my head. I wish that some and Ken Levine's kind of more of a, he's been around for a while. Neil Druckmann has to some extent, but I wish one of these like prolific new names would get out there and just say something every now and then, just to rile some shit up. Corey Barlog's kind of good about that. It's
Yeah.
more mild, man. He can say some shit on Twitter every the Baldur's Gate 3 dude had a little bit of that energy going
Yeah,
up and
Sven
accepting his
Bink,
award
the
with the
dude, the dude
yes,
is a legend because he loves to
yeah,
just because he's not disrespectful. He's just he knows he's very talented. His team's very talented and stuff. And he has a very, very strong and good driven mindset because I remember him getting
yeah.
he got heavily questioned on why on earth are you bringing Divinity 2 to like the Switch? And his response was, well, so that we can play it when we go on our flights I want to be. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit about like obviously within a certain extent. He obviously wants the game to do well, but it's
Right.
more. I want to be able to play this, and my colleagues, and we love playing our product, and we would just like to be playing it on the plane over to wherever we're headed. We're that big of a fan of what we produce, and we're that passionate, and we're that proud. So, like, dude, I
Did you
love him.
did you see that they had to pay Wizards of the Coast $90 million for Baldur's Gate 3? That's so crazy, dude. That I mean, what the hell? What the I'm not saying that it made no effect, the D&D aspect, but like if the D&D aspect wasn't in that game, would it have sold 5% fewer copies? I seriously doubt it.
Um, oh, that's an interesting because
Well,
Divinity 2
because they
did
could have
really,
just
really, really well. I don't think it would have hit the numbers that Baldur's Gate 3. Like that does have an extremely big pull
But
as a
couldn't they have just
name.
implemented they could have just implemented some other mechanic in, right? That pretty much mimicked everything that the D&D system built out, if I'm not I don't know. I haven't played the game yet, so I could be
I'm gonna tell
speaking.
you the majority of them systems are already built in Divinity. That whole
So yeah, like,
framework of everything, like it's just like almost a wallpaper covering. But that's what I'm saying is that because it was Baldur's Gate D&D name first and foremost, that's what drove a lot more sales that way.
oh,
It's
so is Baldur's Gate like Baldur's Gate is
Dungeons and
attached?
Dragons. Yeah, that's a town in the Dungeons and
Oh,
Dragons universe.
see, I did not even know that. I've never
Um,
played Dungeons and Dragons in my life.
wow. I'm shocked you've only I'm the one to break that to you.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I had no
it's
idea.
well, I can't think of, and now I'm drawing a blank on how it's framed, the name of it. The Forgotten Realms is what it's called. Um, when they do like books and stuff like that, and then they'll do certain aspects. So like Neverwinter, the MMO, if you've seen that anywhere when you've been scrolling
Yeah.
through the store, that's Dungeons and Dragons. That's another big city. Baldur's Gate is another one. Um, I don't think Planescape Torment is, but it might be. That's another one. I know that it did the Icewind Dale. That's the one I'm thinking of. That's also D&D. So it no, the name probably pulled a hell of a lot more than you think, and that's why I
Damn.
was because I heard that very early on that they were having to pay a lot for the IP, the privilege of making them a fucking a D&D game, and it's like, do you know who you're dealing with?
That's so crazy.
Like for you and Larian are that confident in themselves to deliver that they're like, yeah, sure, here's, here you go.
That's insane. Yeah, I
It,
guess it came off the back of some sort of I guess they had some sort of profit margin or profit percentage that Wizards of the
they
Coast
had
got
no
from it.
faith in it. No, Wizards of the Coast had no faith in it. They
Damn.
they looked at it and they know that CRPGs sell like shit across the board.
Yeah.
They had just come off the back of releasing Dark Alliance, the new Dark Alliance game, which was that
Yeah.
four-player co-op complete waste of time. And then they went and re-released the original Dark Alliance games, and they it's good for the people that were fans of the series, but they didn't really make a splash. So they had no
Yeah.
faith. They were like,
Jesus.
you want this is going to cost how much to make? You can
That's
give us this
insane.
so that we know that we're getting some money back, definitely. And
Yeah.
Sven is like, oh, if only you knew.
They pulled in some cash, some big money off of that one.
Absolutely.
But yeah, was there anything else you wanted to hit
Not
on
for this
this?
discussion, but to tinily link into Baldur's Gate just one last time. Your Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous copy landed.
Yeah. Oh. I don't know. I got
There
my
we go.
notes pulled
There we
up in front
go.
of my. Yeah.
So that's a big W. And
Yeah, she's there.
I'd really, really suggest breaking that seal. and giving that a go before Baldur's Gate 3.
Nah, there's no chance, man.
No,
It's no because I'm there's so much shit out right now. I'm going straight from WWE 2K24 releases in 2 days, so
oh
I'm
yeah, I
trying my
saw that. Yeah,
yeah, so I'm
it's
trying my
weird.
damnedest to
Weird that they do March releases for
yeah,
that.
they changed it up after 2K20 was a total bomb, total disaster. They changed up their release pattern and yeah, so that comes out in 2 days from recording this, and then Rise of the Ronin and Dragon's Dogma 2 come out on March 22nd, and then by April, Baldur's Gate 3 will arrive. So it's like,
So you're skipping Unicorn Overlord Friday.
yeah, yeah, I probably won't be playing
Yeah,
that.
I feel like pre-ordered
Yeah,
myself.
it's I liked the 13 Sentinels game, but I wasn't. I thought it was cool. I thought
I
the art
didn't.
style was really cool.
I haven't touched 13 Sentinels myself. I don't think I've ever played a Vanilla Wars game, or whatever they're called.
Yeah, Vanillaware. Yeah, they
So
make great shit.
this will be my first outing into them. And I think, like you said, it's late, like 23rd or something for Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah, 22nd for Dragon's Dogma and Rise of the Ronin. So it's like I'm
So
gonna have to,
I'm not touching Ronin myself. So that'll give me like, free 2 3 weeks to get through Unicorn.
and that might I'll have to bring you on the channel or something. We'll do a discussion or something about because I probably won't end up playing Dragon's Dogma until after. I'll probably play Rise first and then Dragon's Dogma after. So we can
That'll
do
be a
some
good,
sort of
yeah. We can pit them against each other. Because you didn't play
right.
Dragon's Dogma 1 either, did you?
I played a very small bit of it, and I
Oh,
was just like, it wasn't.
incredible.
Yeah, it
Very
wasn't.
slow, but incredible.
Yeah, not a knock on the game's quality whatsoever. It was just like I came to it so late. That's why people, people ask why I buy games on day one. If I don't play a game on day one, I almost never go back to them. Not never, but I'm always so distracted with other shit. And if I go
Yeah.
back to a game that if I spend $10 on a game and it annoys me even one iota, I'll put it down because it's like it's a $10 investment. That's like Game Pass. I'll jump into a Game Pass game, and if it doesn't click with me, I immediately jump out of it. I
Yeah.
don't have any sort of real $15 investment a month, whatever.
Yeah.
But if I pay fucking $60, $70, I'm gonna finish that damn thing. I'm gonna get all my damn money out of it. But yeah, dude, this was a fun conversation, man.
Yeah. Picking brains on an aspect of gaming that you don't really partake in too much,
Yeah,
if any, really.
yeah,
And
not
obviously
until this year.
the shadow drop of that showcase out of nowhere.
What? Yeah, really, really great showcase. That I hope that they continue going forward with that and just showcasing new IP and kind of putting a light on that, a spotlight on that, because there's games in there that would have never, ever, ever, ever made my radar if it wasn't for that showcase. And now I'm like actually interested in continuing to check them out. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely a good show, man.
Yeah.
Good show and a good show.
And a good show here.
That's
So
what I'll say.
yeah, we can wrap this up. And it looks like it's going to be another long one, another 2 and a bit hour. But yeah,
Yep.
that's what rambling does, I suppose.
We be rambling, man. I'm about to go
Mm.
get me a damn cheeseburger. I ain't ate today.
Oh God. All right. Well, we'll catch you in the next one, and thank you very much for watching.
Appreciate it, guys.